Tuesday. It's April 24th. Not a lot on my mind today. Basketball and hockey, mainly because during this time of the year, that's pretty much the only two sports that we care about. Baseball, maybe a little bit if we have some time. We can talk about the Dodgers struggling, the way they've been struggling. Talk about how the D-backs once again have set a milestone for the best start in the MLB, well, for their franchise. But we're gonna put that on the back burner now. We're gonna start this off with what happened last night in the NBA. And in the NBA last night, the Utah Jazz, they continued their hot streak last night. They continued to roll. They had a 113-196 win over OKC over the OKC Thunder. Paul George, Russell Westbrook and company just couldn't handle the fuego. Donovan Mitchell continues to shine. Put up 33 points last night. Again, like I said in my very, very first segment, my pick for Rookie of the Year, hands down. Donovan Mitchell killed it last night. He did take a lot of shots. I think he shot like 13 for 28. Not bad. I mean, completely not bad. But it goes to show that he's the first option and that he's not scared to shoot that ball. And with him scoring 33 last night, that just ups his playoff points per game average. He's consistently in the top 5. Only has 4 games under his belt, but still to be in the top 5 with Anthony Davis, Michael Jordan, guys like that, LeBron. That's pretty special, especially for a rookie. So shout out to Donovan Mitchell. For putting the team on his back last night. Actually, not even putting the team on his back last night. I mean, we had 6 players for the Utah Jazz in double figures last night, all with 10 points or more. The whole starting lineup all scored in double figures, and then one off the bench, of course. I felt like Paul George pulled his weight in the loss. It was a 113-96 win for the Utah Jazz. Paul George with 32 points, made all of his free throws. Tip the hat to you, bud. 32 points. You pulled your weight. Russ showed out as always. He didn't get his triple-double, but he had 23 points and 14 boards. Only posted 3 assists last night, but I mean, he held it to 5 turnovers. That's kind of low, in my opinion, to when you're talking about Russ. As aggressive as he is as a ball handler, always wanting the ball in his hands every single possession. It's a lot. Or that's not a lot. I mean, I feel like he usually averages about 7 or 8. Now, this is what kills me. This is what kills me the most about last night's game. And I hate to say it, man. I really do. But Carmelo. Melo. Dude. Where are you? Where are you? 11 points last night. Which is fine. 11 points to contribute on a team like this isn't bad. It isn't bad at all. But the way that you contributed your 11 points, man. Carmelo, you killed the game. You killed the game for your buddies. You shot 0 for 6 from 3. You scored on a couple of ISOs. I watched the whole game. They ISO'd him. He made his plays. He got to the rim. He scored. Great, but you shot 0 for 6 from 3. We're in a day of 8, or we're in a time of the NBA where it's the 3-point era. Everybody shoots threes. Even big men shoot threes now. Look at DeMarcus Cousins. I know he's not playing right now, but was probably the biggest man I've ever seen shoot a 3 and make it and consistently make threes. You got to make your 3 balls, man. And this is the last thing that I'm going to say about Carmelo Anthony. I love Carmelo Anthony. I have a Carmelo Anthony Denver Nuggets jersey. I've had it for about 10 plus years. I adore the player. When it came back when it was LeBron at 1 and Carmelo at 2 in that draft, I was always pulling for Melo. I was a Melo fan between those two players. Not saying that I'm not a fan of LeBron. Not saying that I don't like LeBron. I'm not one of those LeBron haters. Not saying that at all. But I just was a fan of Carmelo Anthony more because I was just a fan of the underdog back then. And just throughout his career of how he played and poised himself in Denver, scoring, I thought he was going to be a great. But here's my final take on Carmelo is this. That man has the greatest basketball curse ever. It's the greatest and the worst. 2 reasons I say that. One, it's just he was born to win the NCAA championship. He won the NCAA championship as a Syracuse freshman. That's impressive. And he also scored. He just scored and scored and scored and scored. He was a scoring machine. 4-time. That was my second reason. 4-time. Every time he was on that Olympic squad. He's a 4-time Olympic gold medalist. He's one of the most. He's the most winningest gold medalist in Olympic basketball history. USA basketball. In USA basketball history, he has the most gold medals. Why doesn't he have an NBA title? Why? I'll tell you one reason why. Because he played in New York for a really long time. He thought that going back home and stuff was going to be good, which it was. I mean, they had a good couple of years. But no. They had a good couple of years with the Linsanity, J.R. Smith, with all of those guys, Iman Shumpert. They had, they were what? They won 55 games one year, I think. About 54 games, 3rd seed in the playoffs. It's just, you wasted some time there. And I don't know if at this point in your career, man, you're going to have a team where you can just carry them to a championship. Because if you were the Melo that we all remember once upon a time, this series would be over. It would. So, Melo, whatever's going on with you, man, I'm pulling for you. And I want you to get your stuff together, brother. Because I'm not giving up. I'm not counting OKC out. They have way too much firepower to count them out. No way. There's no way in hell I'm going to count those boys out. It's insane. Next. Moving on, shall I say. Houston Rockets played the Minnesota Timberwolves last night. Epic battle. I mean, the first half was awesome. Watching the first half, you thought it was going to be a great game. And then all of a sudden, James comes out and puts 22 points up in the third to contribute to a 50-point third quarter. Holy Nikes! 50-point third quarter. That's insane. Especially in the playoffs against a team like Minnesota. Pretty defensive-minded team. And I'm going to stop everything right now. And I just want to address one thing. Did we see a vintage Derrick Rose last night? I saw him torch 4 defenders and then beat the last one on a layup. He was scoring 3-ball shots. The only thing he wasn't doing was putting out some crazy acrobatic dunks, but I'm not asking for all of you yet. Jeez. But God, where did that come from? It was awesome. So, having said that, James Harden put up 36. CP3, I think, had 24. I can actually look. CP3 actually went up for 25. Put up 6 assists as well with that. Capella goes up for 14 points and 17 boards. Oh, my God. They shot better from the 3-point line. Just a little bit. I mean, they were, out of the 16 teams in the playoffs, they were ranked, 15th from 3-point line going into yesterday's game. So they shot, they shot a little bit better from the 3-point line last night. Not what they usually shoot, though. Not where they should be. But still, even though these guys aren't playing where they should be, these guys, Capella, CP3, James, Harden, they have just great basketball chemistry together. They work together. They get other players involved, and they get, I think they had about 5 players in double digits last night. Eric Gordon came off the bench, scored 18, I believe. But even though they shot a little bit better from the 3, not to their greatest strength, though. Not up to par with what their greatest strength is. But they still won by 19 points. I mean, what does that say about the team? Like, what does that say about this Houston Rockets team this year? I think it's saying that they're probably going to beat the Warriors. Because when the Warriors are not on their game, they've proven to just kind of lose, you know, unless Kevin Durant has something to say about it and goes for, just kidding. I mean, in Kevin Durant's most highest point outputs, they've lost. Where I think he scored 40 or more, I think they've lost all of those games. So you can't even say that. But anyways, both series gone to 3-1. In my first segment, when I was going over the playoff matchups before they started, I said that the OKC Thunder were going to lose it in 7. I said that was going to be one of the 7-game series just because I didn't know where Melo was going to be. And Rudy Gobert, Ricky Rubio, Donovan Mitchell, they're just a great trifecta. They work together. They work hard together. And it's really hard to beat somebody with talent, just talent. It's really hard to beat people that work really, really hard together and have talent at the same time. Even if your talent is superior, if you guys work harder, that's kind of how basketball is almost. Unless you have the best player on the floor. You know, the best player on the floor rule does apply every now and then, but if he is having an off game, it's definitely the factor. So that's pretty much it. Those were the only 2 games that happened last night. Both going into a 3-1 series. Like I said, I think it's going to still go to 7. I think OKC is going to drag this out. I don't know if they're going to win it. I would have been eating my words if they were a little closer in this series, but I'm sorry. Sorry, Skeleton. My buddy Skeleton's an OKC fan. I got love for him. It's not that I don't want them to win. I want them to win. As a fan of the game, as a personal fan, my personal opinion, I want OKC to win. That's me. That's me talking, but I'm not here for me. I'm not here for me. In other news last night, we did have some action in the NHL. The Toronto Maple Leafs. God almighty. They're just not going to go down. They're like roaches. They just don't go away. Toronto Maple Leafs survived once again last night. They took a 3-1 win over the Boston Bruins. Frederick Anderson, I should say. He led the way with 32 saves last night. 1 goal allowed. I forgot who the goal was for the Bruins. It didn't matter. Boston, you got to get it together. You guys were down once upon a time by 3 goals in the third period against this team in a Game 7 situation in Boston, that is. Or no, that was in Toronto. I forgot. That was in Toronto. You guys came back and didn't even force the game to overtime. You guys just won the game. Don't let Toronto get this payback. Please. You guys were up. In this series. You guys should have closed this series out. I called that this series was going to be a Toronto in 6. I think it was either a Toronto 5 or Toronto in 6 is what I said. And I was eating my words. I was literally like, oh my God. And don't even ask me about the Kings. Anybody that's gonna watch it, it's watching it now. Friends, family, anybody on YouTube, in the comments. Don't ask me about the Kings. I know you're going to now. So I'm going to just say something. The day that I saw that matchup, I knew it was over from that point. Now, if you told me that they were going to sweep my Kings, I would have told you that you were absolutely out of your mind. And I would have stuck to that. Even down 3-0, I would have stuck to that. But no. They lost. They got swept. Embarrassed. But that's, I mean, like I said, when I'm not here for you, or not here for myself, I'm here for you guys. When it comes to the Kings, I am kind of here for myself. They've won a couple of cups, though, in the recent years. 2012, 2014, they won the cup. So I can kind of say, and they also have the same core players too. So I can, I can push that. I can push that envelope a little bit. I think I've earned that right. It's not like I can push the envelope like that on the Lakers. It's not like I can push the envelope like that on the Dodgers or the Trojans. They haven't won any national titles, MLB, World Series championships, nothing. They haven't won a World Series. Nope, none of those guys have. So I can't push it like I can with the Kings. But they got matched up with a great team. The GM, I forget the names of the two gentlemen that drafted that team in the expansion draft. But they did an outstanding job. They knew exactly what kind of team that they wanted. They knew exactly what type of offense they wanted to run with the type of players, and they found the perfect players. They didn't have to kind of go through and say, oh, well, next year we'll get these guys, but then we're going to have to worry about these guys. They literally just built the team exactly how they wanted, and I couldn't be nothing but proud for the Vegas Golden Knights, which is why I'm going to be pretty much rooting for them throughout the rest of the playoff series. I mean, they swept my Kings. I got to give them that respect, so that's all I'm going to say. But in the comments, do what you please. This is America, goddammit. But I think the Leafs, going back, I know we jumped a little off topic there, but I think the Leafs are going to get the payback. I think they're going to give them payback for that butt whooping, that 3-goal lead that they gave up in Game 7 a while ago, a few years back. I think these kids are growing up fast with the Leafs, and they're playing a little dirty. If you've noticed the series, I thought this wasn't going to be that exciting of a series, but it's the Brad Marchand. You brought out the worst in these kids, man. They're not taking your crap anymore. They're bullying you guys. And I think they're going to come into your house and bully you guys on Game 7 too. Honestly, in my professional opinion says that the Boston Bruins are going to win this game based off of history and just their team, Tuukka Rask. They have the better netminder. I think they're going to win this game on their home ice. But the any given Sunday rule, it applies to hockey. It's a physical enough sport that applies to hockey. You can have a no-named netminder stand on his head. It's happened. Look at Marty Jones. Martin Jones did it. Murray from Pittsburgh. They let go of They were okay with letting go of Marc-Andre Fleury because of how well a backup goalie can play. So, any given hockey game. So I think these kids for Toronto have grown up a little bit. I think Patrick Marleau is going to show his veteran presence there in Game 7. Going to keep these kids cool. Because it is their first Game 7. You do have to remember that. It is their first Game 7. In other news last night in the NHL, Alex Ovechkin, for people that don't know that term. Alex Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals closed out the series last night against the Columbus Blue Jackets. They won 6-3. Just a domination. Absolute domination by Ovechkin. He scored 2 goals last night to help secure that win. They're on to play the Pittsburgh Penguins. Can the Capitals finally get past the Penguins? Can he get past the second round? I am going to be doing a special segment on that tomorrow. I am not going to be doing any. I'm not going to be getting into that, as we do have a couple of more things to get into today. That series isn't going to be for a while. I haven't really looked at the matchups between them this season, but just history says Ovechkin doesn't get past the second round, which I think he's going to get there sooner or later. And I think his time was last year. Time is now. His time is next year. I don't know how much longer he's going to have after that, though. So we're going to move on to tonight. No action going on in hockey tonight. We got a dead night. Game 7 for Boston. Toronto's tomorrow. But tonight we got 3 NBA matchups tonight. Tres. 1, 2. Ooh, sorry. Ooh. PG-13 now. Fuck. Oh, rated R. Damn it. All right, whatever. This is the second segment. Like I said, we're going to be getting better with this. Tonight's big matchups. They're all in the NBA. Bucks play the Celtics tonight. It's first game going on. The series is tied at 2 games apiece. Who do I think is going to win this game? I think Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to dominate the game. Going to just keep that momentum going. Bucks have won the last 2 games. They won the last 2 games in Milwaukee, but I think they're just going to carry this momentum into Boston. They found ways to beat Terry Rozier. They found ways to beat Al Horford. They found ways to beat these guys that have been playing so well without Kyrie Irving, without Gordon Hayward, without Marcus Smart. I think Gerlach. I think Gerlach, G3 Lock. Thanks, man. I'm actually just doing a sports segment right now, so I'm not playing any games. I can actually pull these out. So if you want, you can follow my Instagram, follow my Twitter. Mainly follow my Instagram down at the bottom. But I post a pair of shoes every day. These are actually yesterday's shoes. I haven't started my day yet. I usually start my day with doing a sports segment. But these are Jordan, my Jordan Retro ones. These are the Black History months. They came out they came out in February for Black History Month. But this is my first and only pair of Jordans that I own. So, but thanks for recognizing, man. You're the first person to actually say something. If you notice, my Kicks of the Day posts will always be back here when I stream. Bro, I already got it. I see it. I see it right here. Boom. There it is. The Instagram right there. Boom. You're the man. Thank you so much. Actually, I'm doing a little segment here. I have it all turned off, but give me 1 second.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Thank you so much for following the dark side, man. I'm doing my sports segment now. I also do video games for Blizzard and stuff. I'm going to be building a small WoW Classic community, so definitely stay posted there. I'm going to be posting some more stuff about that today on Instagram as well. So thank you so much. But we're going to continue on. Thank you. I appreciate it. This is my second segment ever. I got a little lazy. I butchered my first one. I stopped for a couple days, just did a little research. But thank you. So continuing on, we got the Bucks playing the Celtics again. They're tied at 2 games apiece. They do have the momentum. I think they're going to keep that momentum swing going. They're going to take this 3-2 series. I think the Greek Freak is just going to win this game for them. He's in the 4 games that they have played, he's averaging close to 28 points a game, 8.5 boards, 6.5 assists through those 4 games. So I think he's going to turn it up from there. That was nowhere near the numbers that he posted in the very beginning of the season when we were all talking about him. Well, select few of us were all talking about him winning the MVP this season. Didn't come close, unfortunately, but I think he's going to have some sort of MVP type caliber game. I feel like they've learned the ways against Terry Rozier, Al Horford, and these guys. And I think they're just going to dominate from this point forward. Honestly, I think they're going to win the next 2 games, but that's a lot to say against this Boston team. Brad Stevens is definitely one of the best coaches in the NBA. We've seen it the last 2 years straight, getting the 1 seed, 2 seed with these no-name teams. I mean, you had Isaiah Thomas last year, king of the fourth, yes. But you had all these just young guys and weird pieces that you put together, and you got the 1 seed, one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. Even though I live in Phoenix, so I just say these random things, even though Devin Booker put up 70 against them last season, which was great. Brad Stevens has proven to be one of the best coaches in the NBA. He's going to be up there with Pop. He's going to be up there with Pat Riley. He's going to be up there with Phil Jackson. He just has to get over this hump and win these titles. Oh. Damn it. Oh, looks like I got to do these hot. Thanks, Gerlach. Appreciate you. Better now. I think it's better now. All right. We good? Perfect. All right, so I think Brad Stevens, again, he just has to get over that hump. Once he gets over that hump, I think the championships are just going to start rolling in. And he also needs his core players. The fact that they went up 2 games to none without Kyrie, without Gordon Hayward, without their original plans of the season, it's impressive. Very impressive. So following that game, my personal favorite series that I've been able to watch this NBA playoffs, this first round, is the Heat and the Sixers. The Sixers are looking to close out the series against Dwayne Wade and the Miami Heat. This was my favorite series to going into the playoffs. This was my favorite series to watch. It really was, because of all of the beef between Hassan Whiteside and Joel Embiid. Oh my God, that beef was so awesome. The Instagram, the Twitter, the getting into it on the court and stuff, the technicals. It was great this season, but game 1 and 2, Joel Embiid sits. Game 3, he comes out. There's not a lot of tension. It's more between oh my God, what's his name? Whatever, Johnson and Ben Simmons. They were getting into it. It's not even the main event. I want to see the main event. I think this is going to be a very high octane game from the Miami Heat. This game is in Philly though. So if the Heat can get their fourth quarter situation together, because the James Johnson, thank you. Now, if Dwayne Wade can get his team together, because Dwayne Wade has been doing amazing in the fourth quarter. He's been putting up these comebacks, or they've just been falling very short. They've been outscored heavily in the fourth quarter though this series. I think by about 26 points or so they've been outscored in the fourth. So if the Heat can get their fourth quarter situations together and just play a consistent game from first to fourth, they're going to win this game and they'll just win the series. But I think Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, I think this team is too good, too special. Dwayne Wade can't be the hero like he has been every single game. I love Dwayne Wade, but he is just not that hero anymore. He does need a little bit of help, just like LeBron. He just needs a little bit of help at this time. But these Sixers are very, very special. They're only going to get better. They keep getting better every single game, and that's the crazy thing about these young teams that are in the playoffs together. As these young guys keep working together as a young team to understand each other, to understand the game, to understand what being a pro is like, they're getting better. They are honestly getting better. I hate to say it, but I honestly think the Sixers are going to close it out tonight. I hate to say it because I'm a huge fan of Dwayne Wade. I was a huge fan of him just because I'm a big Lakers fan. When Shaq went over there, I was just in big support of Shaq. I wanted him to win a title. He's just as much a part of the Lakers organization his entire career as pretty much anybody that's been there as a lifer. So that's why I got some love for Dwayne Wade. But I don't think they're going to close it out tonight, unfortunately. And then following that game, lastly, and definitely least in the West, we have Golden State looking to close out the Spurs. Not even looking to. They're going to close out the Spurs tonight. Nothing more to be said on that. There's still besides that, but having said that, they're still a two-headed monster without Steph Curry. They still are. Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, before Kevin Durant, were the Splash Brothers. They were a two-headed monster. Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson, that's still a two-headed monster. I think Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson is an even more dynamic two-headed monster because you got one guy that can just one that's pretty much arguably the best catch and shooter of all time, and then you got the other 6'11", spread the floor, drive to the rim. He's shot blocks like he's 6'11". I'd rather have a 6'11" and a 6'4" than a 6'4" guy. Any day. The veteran Spurs, they weren't going to allow a sweep. Manu Ginobili proved that, which, my God, Manu Ginobili's Game 4 was probably one of the best 40-year-old performances I have ever seen in my entire life. No, I do not bet on NBA games. I wish I could. I live in Arizona, so sports betting online is illegal. I can drive to Vegas. It's only a 4-hour drive. I haven't checked the bet odds for the Heat. I haven't looked at the ESPN odds at all. But if it's a Sixers win by like 7 or like I'd say even 6 or more points, I would take the favor for the Heat. I honestly think it's going to come down to, I think it's going to be like a 4-point game, honestly. I honestly think it'd be like a 4-point game or so. I think, like I said, I think the Heat are going to definitely be a lot more physical than they have been through these 4 games. But we'll see. This is honestly that game is going to come down to the refs. Because that game has been so physical that you can honestly blow a whistle on either side of the ball right now with that matchup. So it's just going to come down to who's going to be in more favor of the whistle. Is pretty much, yeah. I mean, honestly, the first one is going to be, the first one was a blowout. I didn't expect that. I think it was like 130 to 104 or something. I don't know. I'm not looking at that. I just prepare a little Microsoft Word thing of what I want to talk about today. But Warriors close it out at home. They're in Golden State. They're going to close it out at home. I hate the Warriors, man. I hate them. They're crazy. They're a bunch of crazies, man. I gotta hydrate, man. It's already 100 degrees here. It's already 100 degrees in Arizona. 100 degrees. Well, as you can see, I'm a Southern California boy. So, I mean, being in Southern Cal, if you're raised the right way in Southern Cal, in the sports world, you're raised to hate the San Francisco Giants. You're raised to hate the Sacramento Kings. You're raised to hate not the Raiders. The Raiders is like the only one because you have like your old folk family that's lived in LA when they were there, so you know. But yeah, since I'm from Southern Cal, pretty much any Northern Cal team is a huge rival. And plus, just for how much they've been winning, I mean, as a Laker fan, I understand, but they're not the Lakers. Not the Lakers. But I think that's pretty much it. That's pretty much what's all going down right now. No other big matchups going on. I do want to give some shout outs though. I do want to give a shout out to the New Orleans Pelicans on a big sweep. I did not see that coming. If you watched anybody that watched my first segment, I think I called the Portland Trailblazers in 6. CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard, arguably one of the best backcourts in basketball. I mean, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, John Wall, Bradley Beal, Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum. I mean, it's those backcourts. Those are you can put them in any order on any given night. CJ McCollum's arguably one of the best shooters of all time as well, and they got swept by these Pelicans. So I want to give a shout out to Anthony Davis, the unibrow, Kentucky boy. give a shout out to him. Averaging, and he put up 47. Put up 47 in that final game. Just up in those averages. Absolute excellent playoff performer. And I think that's pretty much it. Nothing else really going on. Like I said, if we had a little bit of time, would it be okay to get into the MLB? Not really a whole lot. It's just the beginning of the season, but Dodgers are in a lot of trouble right now. They've picked it up a little bit. They're finally above 500. They're 11-10. But like I said, it's the beginning of the season. I really don't get into baseball until close to the All-Star break, like the last maybe 2 weeks of games before the All-Star break, just to see how everyone is doing. And then you get into the All-Star break, obviously, with the home run derby and all that fun stuff. But nothing big's happening yet. We don't have any crazy home run crushers, not like last year. Jeez. Giancarlo Stanton, I know, is struggling a little bit with the Yankees. Hope he's going to figure it out. I think it's just the cold weather. But that's pretty much it. Not a lot of news going on else in the NBA. Kawhi's mom, I guess. Kawhi's mom showed up to the game 4. I guess that's something. If people think that there's beef between the organization and the Leonards, Kawhi Leonard is not playing, but mom showed up. So I don't think there's beef going on between the organization. I think Kawhi Leonard's going to stick with the San Antonio Spurs. I think he's going to get that $217 million and make sure that quad is 100%. The craziest thing that could happen would be on the 4th of July this year, they do a sign and trade. So he gets the 217 and then just goes somewhere. I don't think that's going to happen, though. I've never seen a sign and trade on a max deal in my life. One that made sense. And then lastly, before I let you guys go, we do have the NFL draft coming up. I am going to be doing a draft party. Not really a draft party. It's just going to be me. So, I guess I am a party. So I'll be doing a little draft stream. I got my little, I'll just take this here. I got a little TV here. Little TV there. So I'm going to be I'll have the NFL draft up. For those of you guys that don't have ESPN, that don't watch ESPN, can't listen to it on the radio, whatever the case is for you guys. If you guys just like watching me or talking or having an interaction here in the chat during the draft, that's the reason why I do it. I know, in my head there's ESPN, there's Bleacher Sports, there's all of these places that people can go to get sports, but you can't really have an interaction with those. The Twitch chat is great. That's why I'm trying to do it. And hopefully more people will catch on to it. That way we can have more conversation, because I want to do, I'm at 40 minutes in this segment right now. I'm down to do as long as a 2-hour segments. If I can get people in this chat to talk about things, that would be great. Honestly, that would be a dream come true for me. One of my dreams is to do sports broadcasting, outside of the streaming. I mainly started streaming for Blizzard games and stuff, but my real goal is to honestly do something with sports, covering a specific sport, something like that. So that's pretty much a little bit about me and what I want to do with this. But Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. It's on ESPN and ESPN2. If you want to tune in and just get in the chat and just say, what the hell is this? What the hell is that? Let's talk about it. I'm down. I'm a big guy on sports. I've been following sports since I was 7 years old. Big draft coming up. A lot of quarterbacks. There's a lot to talk about with that. There's a lot. The first 32 picks are, we're all going to, everybody, I'm pretty sure any college football fan's going to know the names of all the first 32 picks, at least. Maybe the first 2 rounds of picks. That's how many great players are coming out of the draft this year. But that's it for me today, guys. We went about 10 minutes over, but I appreciate everyone coming in today. Gerlach, thank you so much for the follow. I actually haven't got a follow in 4 days. So thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I haven't done this, though, since last week. But just been playing a lot of games. Cleveland Browns Hey, man. All right. All right. Well, since you're in here, like I said, I don't mind. If this chat's going, I don't mind sticking around. Cleveland Browns, I'm pulling for them. Like, I really am. I love the Cleveland Browns. I got no problem with Ohio. I got no problems. Ohio State, that's pretty much it, maybe. But everywhere else, I'm good. It's all good. But the Cleveland Browns, they can easily mess this draft up. They are. They are the best team ever. The Cleveland Browns are the best team ever. I have never seen a crowd. I've never seen a team stay above float the way that the Cleveland Browns do with how they play. Look at how they play. They are probably by far one of the worst record. They probably have one of the worst records over the last 10 years. Over this 10-year stretch, they probably have the worst record in football, most likely. And their revenue they have positive revenue still. The fan base is so loyal. That's why I say they're the best team ever. There's a reason why these fans stick with these Browns, and I don't know why. I've never gone to a game. Maybe longer. Maybe longer. I'm just throwing a safe number out there for myself. Really, yeah. See, but still, the fan base, man. The fan base. Statistically, the worst team ever. It's insane because you'll have these, like the Chargers, like they make more money than the Chargers. They make more money than the Chargers did when they were in San Diego, and they made more money than the Chargers did this year. And the Chargers moved to LA. There was this hype. The Rams took all that hype though. But there's going to be one thing that the Cleveland Browns are going to do to ruin their season next year. That's true. Very true. That's why I stuck with my LA Kings for so long when they were only winning 20 games out of their 82 game season back in the NHL. That was a rough time for me in high school, man. I remember those days, so I know what that is. But this is the one thing that Cleveland needs to do, in my opinion, if they want to have a good season next year, they want to have a dominant season next year. They draft Saquon Barkley at number 1. Don't draft your quarterback. You got 6 of them. You got Chosen Rosen. You got Sam Darnold. You got Baker Mayfield. You got Josh Allen. You got all of them. You got all those guys. They're all good. Josh Allen and Josh Rosen, same guys. They're the same quarterback. Baker Mayfield is a Johnny Manziel. You know that. You maybe should stay away from him. Sam Darnold, he's just a good pocket passer. Really good pocket passer. So, and he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. And if he does, he learns from it too, which is nice. He's not like Eli. But thank you. But Saquon Barkley does need to get drafted first overall. He is by far the most freak athlete I have seen in this draft in the last 5 years. The most freak athlete. I don't think I have seen a more dominant, just natural athlete come out of the draft since Cam Newton. Honestly. Cam. This guy is more athletic than him. This guy power cleans over 365 pounds. This guy squats over 420. This guy runs a 4.40. This guy is a moving train. And he doesn't even look, he has no history of injury. Oh, Brady, I don't know. So a huge inspiration of mine doing this is Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith. They're pretty big inspirations of me. And Brady, they say that he's just climbing this cliff and that he's about to fall off. He's in his 40s. I don't know. The way that he takes care of himself and he says like, hey, I can play till I'm 50, I'm down for it. We're in a day of age where if you have that kind of money to take care of your body and, you're actually truly listening to your body, if you get that type of, he's been protected pretty well. I mean, the Super Bowl they got to him, but that's one game. It's the biggest game, but still, like he doesn't get hit that much. Here you go. This is for you. Oi. Well, Brady's a genius, yeah. I honestly think if he doesn't suit up anymore, he's just gonna automatically have a spot on the sideline, quarterbacks coach, offensive coordinator, something, because that brain needs to that brain needs to get put to good use. I don't want that brain to get traumatized on a big hit. I want him to use that brain for the young guys that come in the future too. That is a good point. I think one big knock and he's going to be out for a while. I definitely agree with that. I hope it's not a head knock because, like I said, we need that brain for the future of football. And since we're talking about football, one thing it is kind of bothering me is this kickoff rule. I'm not down for it. I'm not down to remove the kickoffs. Yes, there's a lot of injuries that happen, but there were less injuries. Well, I don't know. I'd have to take a look at that, honestly, before running my mouth about it, because they stopped the rule where you can put up the wall, where you have 4 guys stand right in front of the receiver, the guy that receives the ball. They stopped that rule because of injuries, but now all of a sudden they're talking about injuries on the kickoff, and I don't know. I don't think they should take away the kickoff. Kickoff is such a momentum swing. If you got a great special teams, if you got a great kickoff returner, and your offense isn't doing it, and you get scored on, and you have that opportunity to just run one back, how do you think Devin Hester would feel if this was 2008? How do you think Devin Hester would feel about this? How do you think the Bears would feel about this? Do you think the Bears would the Bears have gone to the Super Bowl? I think it was the 2009 Super Bowl when it was Indy, Chicago. Do you think the Bears would have even gone to the Super Bowl if that kickoff rule was in place back then? Probably not. Devin Hester set a record for kickoff return touchdowns. That was a momentum swing team based off of special teams. So I don't think they should get rid of the kickoff. I don't think they should get rid of the kickoff, and I think the Cleveland Browns should draft Saquon Barkley at number 1. Those are the 2 things on my mind for football. And then you got the 4th pick, 5th pick after that. Come on, Josh Rosen, Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold. See? And then there's your Sam Barkley at number 1 right there. You have all of those quarterbacks right there. Who cares? You're going to have the option to pick one of those 2. You have the option to pick one of the 2. And there's not even like a probability that all these teams are going to take quarterbacks either. So I honestly don't know why these analysts and stuff are talking about the Browns taking a quarterback at the 1st pick. I think the Browns have gambled too much at quarterback for their 1st pick. So I think it might be time for a change. I think it might be time to make a change and just draft a running back that is going to be good. Running back is one of the easiest positions to make that transition from college ball to the NFL. It depends on obviously depends on what conference that you play in. Look at Zeke. Look at Ezekiel Elliott. Easy transition. It's going to be a way easier transition for Saquon. Just was a way better player. Stronger, has more heart, more dedication. It's going to be a way easier transition for Saquon. So I think you should definitely take him at 1. For sure. Hands down. We'll get more into that tomorrow. Like I said, I prepare all of my stuff the night before. For the last 20 minutes or so, I've just been winging it. I don't even have anything on my screen anymore. So yeah, I'm gonna prepare a pretty big draft kit. What's today? Tuesday, right? Yeah, today's Tuesday. So I'm gonna be preparing a pretty big draft kit for tomorrow. Tomorrow, my segment is pretty much gonna be nothing but the draft. I'm gonna kind of go through. I think I'm gonna get a board and put my board right up here. I think I might do. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do something for the draft though. I'm probably not going to go through all the picks because I'm definitely not that good. Not yet. We'll get better. But I'll have that, and then we'll pretty much just be doing continuous coverage of the NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs. Speaking of Johnny Manziel too, I think he deserves a job in the NFL as well. That's my final take of the day. Johnny Manziel deserves a spot in the NFL. Not as a starter, but as a backup. Definitely as a backup. I think he's put the work in. I think he deserves another shot. But that's pretty much my final take. But I am taking off as well. It was a pleasure. Gerlach, thank you so much for coming in and chatting. Like I said, this is going to be my main goal is to, I know you can choose ESPN. I know you can choose Bleacher Report. I know you can choose all of those here, but you can't have that interaction. And that's what I want to do here is have that interaction with everybody. So Gerlach, thank you so much for coming in. Appreciate you. Thanks for the follow. I'll be on tomorrow. I'm actually going to be on later on today. I'm going to be playing some games and stuff. We'll be playing some Heroes of the Storm, maybe some World of Warcraft. I don't know. But we're going to be we'll be getting into the streaming hours a little later. I'm going to go to the gym, feed my dogs, take care of some regular life stuff. But thank you so much for coming in. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. My YouTube page is down here. I am going to be uploading this video on YouTube. Please leave any sort of comments on what I can do to improve this, anything. Like I said, this is my second segment, so I have an open mind about this. So thank you so much for all of your constructive criticism, trolls. Thank you so much, guys. Love y'all. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see y'all later.